Dum-de-dum. Hello, Tube of the U. I had a book somewhere. There it is there. How professional is this? Where am I looking? I keep looking in the wrong place these days, I'm so sorry. Hi there, YouTube. How you doing? Hiya, YouTube. YouTube. Hi. Silliness over. Right, have I got a good angle here? I'm trying to find an angle where I've got the Christmas tree in the background, hypnotising me with his flashing lights. A little bit of film footage of my children for me to see. My beautiful son Dylan there. You can see his legs. I always like to be reading to my children. I'm in a different place if you're a regular viewer of mine, because I wanted to get this in the background. I was going to read one of my children's Christmas stories. But I'm going to instead read. I felt the urge to cheer myself up a little bit. I don't know where I'm to. I can't see myself anywhere though. Yeah. There's a big square. There's a square in the middle of the viewfinder that follows me around, so I'm just having fun I'm playing Space Invader with myself here. So that's what you kids are calling what these days. Don't wipe it on the curtains, we can't get them apart in the mornings. Right, with Denmark. I'm not one for doing, here we are. I suddenly remembered this bit this morning, and so I'm going to read this. So this is my book. You can see it's a picture of me. That's me there. I'll be the other way up. There. A Study in Melancholia. Was that a Sherlock Holmes book? If not, it ought to be. There's still time. Well, Arthur Conan Boyle. Arthur Conan Boyle? I know all his medical history. I think he believed in spiritualism, didn't he, you know? So, come on then, Arthur. Prove it's all wrong. You right? Nope. Okay. Right. Okay. Where am I to? Yeah. I wanted to read this bit, so I'm going to. And if you want to listen, that's entirely up to you. But if not, this one's just for me. But I'd love you to be along with me. Famous Danes. Oh, in case you don't know what this book is, this is me spoofing all the countries in the world. Although the book went on so far that I only got as far as, I think, Namibia in here. I should also point out, in my books as well, rather like my albums, you get bonus at the back. You get some of the outtakes in the back of the book. I'm sorry, this isn't what I was going to do. Alternate and edited bits from France. Later that day, Homo habilis agrella. Son, your dad says you've got to invent the fire extinguisher. Homo habilis erg Jr. Why? He's burnt the bloody camp down. He just invented fire the day before, I guess. Right, famous Danes. Undoubtedly, Hans Christian Andersen is the most famous Dane of all time, thanks to his magical fairy tales. At least 3,381 are known to exist, and at least 20 zillion gabillion are known to not exist. Approximately. It might be more. I should just point out here again, but all the facts in this book are true and verifiable. So Hans Christian Andersen is known to have authored at least 3,381 children's tales or magical fairy tales. Cynics might say that he'd written 10 and just revamped them a little bit, but anyway, here we go. Andersen's poetry and stories have been translated into more than 150 languages worldwide, 160 if you count Cleethorpes, and are loved by children and adults around the world, especially movie executives, as they are all out of copyright. Some of his most famous fairy tales include The Emperor's New Clothes, The Little Mermaid, The Nightingale, The Snow Queen, The Ugly Duckling, and Thumbelina. Or some of his unfamous tales include The Cow Who Laughed All the Way to the Slaughterhouse, The Little Princess Who Went Out for a Three-Way Basting the night before her wedding, The Delicious Duckling in Orange Sauce, The Singing Gonorrhea Bacterium, and The Emperor's New Genocide. That was a bit dark, wasn't it? In June 1847, Andersen paid his first visit to England, and at a party hosted by the Countess of Blessington, he met Charles Dickens for the first time. That is true. Here's where I take over. Sometime after tomorrow, a document was discovered in my attic, which is possibly going to be purported to be a rough draft of a story the two of them were collaborating on, The Princess and the Pea at Bleak House. And then there's a little asterisk, I don't know if you can get this, but there's a visual gag in a book. It's hard to describe a visual gag. There you are, visual and gag. And it says the following bit should probably be in italics, but I can't be bothered. If you're bothered by my lack of bothering, read the following with your head tilted to one side. So, Sir Leicester Dedlock and his wife Honoria live on his estate at Chesney Wold, Cleethorpes. Unknown to Sir Leicester, Lady Dedlock had had a lover, Captain Big Boy Horden, before she married, and had a daughter by him. Lady Dedlock believes her daughter is dead. The daughter, Esther, is in fact alive and being raised by Miss Barbary, Lady Dedlock's sister, which shows just what a close family they are. One evening a terrible storm came on. There was thunder and lightning and the rain poured down in torrents, and naughty boys took it in turns to pee off the roof and get away with it. Suddenly a knocking was heard at the city gate, and the old king went to open it because he was too mean to employ any servants. It was a princess standing out there in front of the gate. "What the fuck do you want?" asked the old king, who was a grumpy old turd. I do hope that YouTube bleep out the bad language. I'd like to come in out of the rain for one thing, and if you give me a bed, I will tell you that after Miss Barbary dies, John Jarndyce, is that? I'm sure it is. Becomes Esther's guardian, and after attending school for 6 years, Esther moves in with him at Bleak House. "Never mind that," said the king. "Are you truly a real princess? Because our son needs to get married quick. He's been duffing the pillows for months now, and I can't even remember the last time we could get his curtains unstuck." He's ahead of you, haven't they? Spoiler alert. "We need him wed and getting a regular helping. We're worried for his health more than anything. His eyesight's gone already." "I am indeed a real princess, for I know that Lady Dedlock, while listening to the reading of an affidavit by the family solicitor, Mr. Tulkinghorn, recognises the handwriting on the copy. Ooh, the sight affects her so much she almost faints, which Tulkington notices and investigates. He traces the copyist using tracing paper, and from the etching he tracks down a pauper known only as Nemo in London. It was an early form of Facebook, and he got put on the stalking register. Tulkinghorn was going to call his quest Finding Nemo, but the movie studio suits at the drop of a hat, so we won't go there. It transpires that Nemo has recently died, and the only person to identify him is a street sweeper, a poor homeless boy named Joe, who lives in a particularly grim and poverty-stricken part of the city known as Tom All Alone's, just down the road from Billy No Mates and across the city so from Frick My Lucks. Who else but a real princess would know that?" "Well, we'll soon find that out," thought the old queen. Oh, I should have got my head a bit before I did the voice. Well, we'll soon find out," thought the old queen, who had come down to listen, the nosy old bat. But she said nothing, went into the bedroom, took all the bedding off the bedstead, and laid a dildo on the bottom. Then she took 20 mattresses and laid them on the dildo, and then 20 eider-down beds on top of the mattresses. After she had finished, she thought... "I reckon my old man is knocking off that strumpet in the bed shop. What the fuck have we got all these bloody mattresses for?" On this bed the princess had to lie all night, and in the morning she was asked how she had slept. "Oh, very badly," said she. "I have scarcely closed my eyes all night. Heaven only knows what was in the bed, but I was lying on something hard, so I am black and blue all over my body. It's horrible. Can I go back and have another 2 hours, please? Just to see if I can get some kip-like?" Now they knew that she was a real princess, because she had felt the dildo right through the 20 mattresses and the 20 eider-down beds. Nobody but a real princess, or someone with genital warts, could be as sensitive as that. So the prince took her for his wife, for now he knew that he had a real princess. And the princess took the dildo as a standby, but the prince could only go for 5 minutes, including taking his socks off. Every night, after he had rolled off, farted and gone to sleep, she would check again that she was a real princess, and could often be heard moaning, "Oh yes, yes," at the knowledge she was. Meanwhile, the day after all this happened, "I wonder what's happened to Esther," the old king wondered. Hence the use of the word wonder. The queen smiled knowingly, for she knew it was a silent one. Then she turned to her husband and cast the blame in his direction. "I forgot what voice I was in. I expect that Lady Dedlock's past is discovered by her maid, Hortense and Tulkington, and that after a confrontation with Tulkinghorn, Lady Dedlock flees her home, leaving a note apologising for her conduct and for using all the toilet paper," the queen said. The king raised an eyebrow, although not his own. Who's speaking now? The queen, I think. "And then Tulkinghorn, that's a name in itself, dismisses Hortense, who is no longer of any use to him. Feeling abandoned and betrayed, Hortense kills Tulkinghorn, as there were no unfair dismissal lawyers around in those days, and then seeks to frame Lady Dedlock for his murder. She must have done it. Look, she's got the word dead in her name even." "You've got whore in yours before you start slinging any dirt," replies Dedlock. Following this, Sir Leicester, discovering his lawyer's death, turns very slowly, and his wife's flight, and no bulk roll after doing a runny one, suffers a catastrophic stroke. But he manages to communicate that he has forgiven his wife and wants her to return. What he wrote it in doesn't bear thinking about. Lady Dedlock. Thank God there's only a paragraph to go. Lady Dedlock. Oh man, I think I just got a hernia. It's amazing what Amazon will deliver these days. Lady Dedlock has no way to know of her husband's forgiveness, or that she has been cleared of suspicion, and she wanders the country in cold weather before dying at the cemetery of her former lover, Captain Horden, aka the dead Nemo. Esther and Bucket find her there and point out how handy it is. They won't have to fork out for a hearse. "Bloody hell, that's a babble of laughs, I don't think," said the king. "What can I say, dearest? They are not Danish." The last line goes back to... Actually, shall I do that bit? 13 minutes here. There's another bit in Denmark. Denmark is one of my funniest bits. Okay, Denmark. Let's speed through this quickly. Shall I do it as a second file? I'm going to do it as another file. Okay, so my fingers are going to come over here. No inappropriate touching the canvas.